Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I want to start. I want to continue our last chapter, which is modern technology in automotive. Okay, under this chapter, these are the 4 course content online. The 6.1 is explain the concept and basic principle of alternative fuels. Alright. Okay, the second one illustrate the concept and basic principle of diesel common rail system. The third one illustrate the concept and basic principle of car air conditioning system. The fourth one is illustrate the concept and basic principle of hybrid drive vehicle. So on the week 12, I will cover these 2 topics, which explain the concept and basic principle of alternative fuels and illustrate the concept and basic principle of diesel common rail system. Okay, so I will cover this on week 12 on this video. Then I will continue on week 13 with the third subtopic and the fourth subtopic. Okay, what is alternative fuels? Alternative fuels ataupun kita kata fuels supply. Alternative fuels are known as non-conventional or advanced fuels are any materials or substance that can be used as fuels other than conventional fuels. Alright, conventional fuels, as you know, fossil fuels like petroleum, oil, coal, propane and natural gas, as well as nuclear materials such as uranium and thorium, as well as artificial radioisotope fuels that are made in nuclear reactors. Some well-known alternative fuels include biodiesel, bioalcohol, which are include with methanol, ethanol and butanol, chemically stored electricity, batteries and fuel cell. So the battery and fuel cell is not the same thing, it's different. Hydrogen, non-fossil methane, non-fossil natural gas, vegetable oil and other biomass sources. Okay, the importance of alternative fuels. Most produced from domestic resources. Okay, sumber tempatan, domestic resources that reduce the energy dependence, generally reduce the vehicle exhaust emission and hence improve the environmental air quality. Some alternative fuel have the potential to operate at a lower cost compared to petroleum products. Itu antara orang kata, kalau kita kata advantage lah, kelebihan untuk alternative fuels. Alright, next slide. Okay, what's the type of alternative fuels? Okay, the first one kita tengok biofuels, which contain ethanol and bioalcohol. Alright, the second one is biodiesel. Okay, as you know, biodiesel are famous. Okay, last 10 years lah biodiesel ni introduced as alternative fuels. Hydrogen. Then we have compressed natural gas, CNG, liquefied natural gas, LNG. Yang ini, that's one yang under NGV. I will explain later. Then liquefied petroleum gas, LPG or autogas. Alright, ini ada types of alternative fuels. Okay, biofuel. A biofuel is a type of fuel whose energy is derived from biological carbon fixation. Alright, type of fuel whose energy is derived from biological carbon fixation. Biofuels include fuels derived from biomass conversion, as well as solid biomass, ada sama ada yang dalam keadaan pejal, or liquid fuels and various biogases. Biofuels are gaining increased public and scientific attention, driven by factors such as oil price hikes, peningkatan harga minyak, and the need of increased energy security. However, according to European Environment Agency, biofuels do not address global warming concern. Okay, alright. Bioethanol is an alcohol made by fermentation, okay, mostly from carbohydrates produced in sugar or starch crops such as corn and sugarcane. Alright, cellulosic biomass derived from non-food sources such as trees and grasses is also being developed as a feedstock, okay, for ethanol production. Ethanol can be used as a fuel for vehicle in its pure form, but it is usually used as a gasoline additive. Dia cuma bahagian tambahan sahaja. Alright, additive, gasoline additive to increase octane number and improve vehicle emission. Right, itu adalah antara penggunaan biofuel. Alright then, we continue with biodiesel. Biodiesel is made from animal fats, okay, ataupun lemak haiwan, animal fats or vegetable oils, renewable resources that come from plants such as soybean, sunflowers, corn, olive, peanut, palm, coconut, sunflowers, canola, sesame, cottonseed, etc. Once the fats and oils are filtered from their hydrocarbon and then combined with alcohol like methanol, biodiesel is brought to life from this chemical reaction. Okay, semua ni yang benda-benda ni, this fat or oils ni are filtered dulu, okay, daripada dia punya hydrocarbon, then combine with alcohol. Apabila combine dengan alcohol, dia akan menghasilkan chemical reaction. Alright, daripada chemical reaction baru dia akan menjadi biodiesel. It's not simply daripada from animal fat terus boleh dapat jadi biodiesel. Tak. Okay, dia kena combine dengan alkohol untuk menghasilkan chemical reaction. Okay, these raw materials can either be mixed with pure diesel to make various proportions and used alone. Despite one's mixture preference, biodiesel will release a smaller number of its pollutant, carbon monoxide particulates and hydrocarbon than conventional diesel, because biodiesel burns both cleaner and more efficiently. Alright, even with regular diesel, reduced quantity of sulfur from the ULSD, okay, ULSD ultra low sulfur diesel invention, biodiesel exceeds this level because it is sulfur free. Alright, okay, I continue. Okay, next is hydrogen. Hydrogen is an emissionless. Emissionless is without emission fuel. Alright, the byproduct of hydrogen burning is water, although some mononitrogen oxide NOx are produced when hydrogen is burned with air. Okey, maksudnya apabila hidrogen ni terbakar dengan udara, dia akan menghasilkan mononitrogen oxide ataupun NOx. A hydrogen car is an automobile which use hydrogen as is primary source of power of locomotion. Maksudnya ni hydrogen car ni, tapi benda ni di Europe lah, dia ada memperkenalkan hydrogen car as an automobile, di mana dia akan menggunakan hydrogen sebagai primary source utama untuk dia punya locomotion. This car generally use hydrogen is one of two methods, either combustion or fuel cell. Ini yang saya nak cerita nanti, fuel cell ni. Fuel cell ni daripada anode kepada cathode. Alright. In combustion, the hydrogen is burned in engines in fundamentally the same method as traditional gasoline car, di mana hidrogen ini akan terbakar dalam kamu punya combustion chamber. Manakala in fuel conversion, the hydrogen is turned into electricity. Manakala fuel cell pula dia akan convert, okey, dia akan convert hydrogen sebagai tenaga elektrik through fuel cell, which then powers electric motor. Okey, dia different dengan hybrid Manakala hydrogen car ni lain, dia tak sama macam hybrid. With either method, the only byproduct from the spent hydrogen is water, penggunaan air. Okey, ini yang dicerita tadi daripada yang menggunakan sama ada hidrogen sebagai pembakaran ataupun sebagai fuel cell. The common internal combustion engine usually fueled with gasoline, petrol ataupun diesel liquids can be converted. Dia akan di-convert to run on gaseous hydrogen. However, the most efficient use of hydrogen involves the use of fuel cell and electric motor instead of traditional engine. Hydrogen reacts with oxygen inside the fuel cell, which produce electricity to power the motors. One primary area of research is hydrogen storage. To try to increase the range of hydrogen vehicle while reducing the weight, energy consumption and complexity of the storage system. Two primary methods of storage are metal hydrides and compression. Ini adalah kaedah yang digunakan penyimpanan untuk hidrogen ni, metal hydrides and compression. Some believe that hydrogen car will never be economically viable, alright, and that the emphasis on this technology is a diversion from development and popularization of more efficient hybrid car and other alternative technologies. Sebab ada kajian mengatakan hydrogen car ni dia takkan menjadi economically viable lah, dia tak boleh menjadi ekonomik. Okey, sebab tu dia memperkenalkan teknologi hybrid ataupun ada alternative technologies. Okey, next, compressed natural gas, CNG. Okey, di mana high pressure, from high pressure kita compress natural gas mainly composed of methane that is used to fuel normal combustion engines instead of gasoline. Combustion of methane produce the least amount of CO2 of all fossil fuels. Gasoline cars can be retrofitted to CNG and become biofuel natural gas vehicle NGVs as the gasoline tank is kept. Maksudnya benda ni daripada CNG ni dia akan retrofit, kita akan simpankan dia dalam silinder gasoline tank, dia akan menjadi kita menggunakan kaedah natural gas vehicle ataupun NGVs. The driver can switch between CNG and gasoline during operation. Natural gas vehicle NGVs are popular in regions or countries where natural gas is abundant. Okay, next is liquefied natural gas, LNG. Ini pun dia kaedah yang sama dikatakan dengan NGV jugalah. Liquefied natural gas is natural gas that has been cooled to the point which are become cryogenic liquid. Okay, cryogenic liquid. In this liquid state, natural gas is more than 2 times dense in highly compressed CNG. Maksudnya dekat satu state, ada satu point tu, natural gas ni dia akan ditumpatkan, dia lebih tumpat lagi berbanding dengan compressed CNG. Okay, LNG fuel system function on any vehicle capable of burning natural gas, unlike CNG which is stored at high pressure, typically 3000 to or 3600 psi. Then dia akan regulate pada high pressure, dia ada pressure regulator, dia akan regulate untuk reduce, okay, untuk reduce pressure. Dia regulate to lower pressure that the engine can accept. Sebab apa? Engine kamu dia tak boleh terima dengan high pressure. Sebab tu kita ada dalam NGV tu, kita ada pressure regulator. Okay, LNG is stored at low pressure 50 to 150 psi and simply vaporized by a heat exchanger before entering the fuel metering device to the engine. Because of its high energy density compared to CNG, it is very suitable for those interested in long range while running on natural gas. Okay, the last one is under LNG, CNG and LPG. Ini adalah LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Okay, LPG or liquefied petroleum gas is a low pressure liquefied gas mixture composed mainly on propane and butane, which burn in conventional gasoline combustion engine with less CO2 than gasoline. Gasoline cars can be retrofit to LPG aka autogas and become biofuel vehicle as the gasoline tank stays. You can switch between LPG and gasoline during operation. Estimated 10 million vehicle running worldwide menggunakan LPG ni Okay, the next one is hybrid. Hybrid ni nanti dia ada satu subtopic 6.4 yang akan membincangkan tentang hybrid. So yang ni adalah just introduction to hybrid. A hybrid vehicle use multiple propulsion system to provide motive power. The most common type hybrid vehicle adalah gasoline electric hybrid vehicle, di mana dia still lagi menggunakan gasoline in term of menggunakan electric hybrid vehicle. We choose the gasoline petrol electric batteries for the energy used to power ICE internal combustion engines and electric motor. Okay, dia ada part time, full time hybrid ni. Mana tu saya akan explain later dalam 6.4. These motor are usually relatively small and would be considered underpowered by themselves, but they can provide a normal driving experience when used in combination during acceleration and other maneuvers that require greater power. Okay, sebenarnya kalau kita guna bateri saja dalam hybrid ni, dia still lagi underpower. Sebab tu dia akan campur juga dengan penggunaan dia dalam menggunakan gasoline Alright, ni contoh hybrid car. Kat depan ni dia ada CIDI, internal combustion engine. Ni dia punya 5-speed manual transmission and automatic clutch, final drive. Okay, kat sini dia ada battery pack ni. Battery pack ni yang menghasilkan energy Battery pack ni dia hasilkan energy. Yang ini contoh di mana dia 5-speed manual transmission automatic clutch, yang mana menggunakan belakang, yang menggunakan depan. Kemudian ada electric machine, final drive. Okay, yang ni contoh yang ada both combine Combine dia ada sama ada front wheel drive ataupun rear wheel drive. Dalam ni dia ada integrated power electronics. Okay, yang tadi saya cerita, apa itu fuel cell? Okay, inilah yang saya nak cerita. Fuel cell dengan battery ni are different dia tak sama. Sebab apa? Fuel cell ni is a device that converts, dia akan convert chemical energy from a fuel into electricity through a chemical reaction apabila dia with oxygen or another oxidation agent. Kehadiran oksigen ataupun oxidizing agent, baru fuel cell ni dia akan mengalami chemical reaction. Hydrogen is the most common fuel, but hydrocarbon such as natural gas and alcohol like methanol are sometimes used. Fuel cells are different from batteries in that they are require a constant source of fuel and oxygen to run, but they can produce electricity continually for as long as these inputs are supplied. There are many types of fuel cell, but they all consist, dia banyak jenis fuel cell, tapi dia punya konsep dia satu je, di mana dia konsep of dia akan ada anode ataupun negative side, dan dia ada cathode, positive side, and electrolyte, dia akan mengalirkan elektrik. Electrolyte dia allows charge, dia akan membawa charge to move between the two side of fuel cell. Maksudnya kalau kita lukis kat sini, alright, from ni electrolytes alright, positive okay, from the anode to cathode. Electrons are drawn from the anode to the cathode through an external circuit, producing direct current from DC to AC. As the main difference among fuel cell type is the electrolyte. Fuel cells are classified by the type of electrolyte they use. Fuel cells come in a variety of size, individual fuel cells produce relatively small electrical potential, about 0.7 volts. So cells are stacked or placed in series to increase the voltage and meet an application requirement. In addition to electricity, fuel cells produce water, heat, and depending on the fuel source, very small amounts of nitrogen oxide and other emission. The energy efficiency of fuel cell is generally between 40 to 60%, up to 85% efficient if waste heat is captured for use. Ni fuel cell ni. Gambar rajah ni menunjukkan fuel cell from anode negative to the cathode. Macam mana kamu tengok electron move. Ni external, dia akan pergi ni. Alright. Okay. Solar. Next is solar energy. A solar car. A solar car is an electric vehicle. Electric vehicle powered by solar energy obtained from solar panel on the car. Maksudnya matahari, the sun akan menghasilkan, kalau kita kata bahasa ni, dia akan bagi lights lah, cahaya di mana kat panel tu dia akan store energy. From the store energy ni, from the solar energy ni kita convert kepada electrical power. Solar panel cannot currently be used to directly supply a car with suitable amount of power at this time, but they can be used to extend the range of electric vehicle. A solar cell or photovoltaic cell PV is a device that converts light into electric current using photoelectric effect. Maksudnya daripada cahaya tak boleh terus kita nak jalankan kereta, di mana from the solar energy dia nak kena convert dulu kepada electrical energy. Dia menggunakan photovoltaic cell device that converts light into electric current using the photoelectric effect. Solar cell produce direct current DC power which fluctuates with the sunlight intensity. For practical use, this usually requires conversion to certain desired voltage or alternating current AC throughout the use of inverter ni yang convert DC to AC. Multiple solar cells are connected inside modules. Modules are wired together to form arrays, then tied to an inverter which produce power at the desired voltage. For AC, the desired frequency phase. Alright, ni contoh solar cell ni kalau kamu tengok ni, from modules, alright, DC convert to AC, fuse box. Ni battery, ni meter punya ni solar cell. Alright, ini adalah advantage and disadvantage of alternative fuel. Advantage: petrol replacement because of high price of petrol, reduce the energy dependence, reduce the vehicle exhaust emission, improve the environmental air quality, have the potential to operate at a lower cost. 5 ni kalau kamu baca pun saya rasa kamu boleh faham lah. Tapi you need to remember benda ni maybe will be come out at the final exam. Give advantage and disadvantage of alternative fuel. Alright, you need to list down. So the disadvantage, hard to find a petrol station that selling natural gas. Benda ni common lah, maksudnya kamu tahu susah nak cari. High cost for hybrid car, high cost maintenance of hybrid car. Sebenarnya hybrid car ni nilai tinggi, tapi di Malaysia ada pada asalnya dalam 4-5 years ago, government bagi subsidi or the government subsidize the price of hybrid car. Alright, so high cost maintenance of hybrid car ni usually memang orang kata kita dah tahulah benda ni. Bateri untuk yang cell tu, yang dash orange untuk hybrid car, ia costly about 50 to 60,000. Alright, low engine performance compared to petrol engine, then soil erosion from increased agriculture. Alright, kita akan go through to NGV. What is NGV? Alright, natural gas vehicle. As introduction, a natural gas vehicle NGV is an alternative fuel vehicle that use compressed natural gas CNG or liquefied natural gas LNG. Saya beritahu tadi lah, dia akan menggunakan CNG ataupun LNG. As a cleaner alternative to other fossil fuels, natural gas vehicles should not be confused with vehicle powered by propane LPG. Dia lain okay, ni tak sama, which is a fuel with a fundamentally different composition. CNG may also be mixed with biogas produced from landfills or wastewater, which doesn't increase the concentration of carbon in the atmosphere. Despite its advantage, the use of natural gas vehicles face several limitations, include fuel storage and infrastructure available for delivery and distribution at fueling station. Natural gas must be stored in cylinder. Okay, dia akan disimpan dalam cylinder, whether it is CNG or LNG, sama ada dalam keadaan compressed gas or liquefied natural gas. Alright, these cylinder are usually located in the vehicle trunk. Maksudnya kalau ke bahasa kita ni, kita sebut dekat bonnet belakang lah, di mana space akan digunakan. Alright, di mana will reducing the space available for other use, particularly during long distance travel. Okay, di mana tong ni terletak di bonnet belakang. This problem can be solved in factory built CMV that install the tanks under the body of the vehicle, thanks to more rational disposition of composition, leaving the trunk free. Maksudnya tank ni diletak di bawah body vehicle, jadi trunk di belakang tu, di bonnet belakang tak digunakan. Jadi kawasan bonnet tu akan kosong. Alright, as with other alternative fuel, other barrier for widespread use of NGV are natural gas distribution to and fueling station, as well as low number of stations selling CNG. Tak banyak. Kalau area Klang Valley tu mungkin banyak, tapi kalau pergi ke di Malaysia ni, negeri-negeri, tak banyak yang ada NGV. CNG powered vehicle are considered to be safer than gasoline powered vehicle. Alright, ni kita tengok NGV component, dia mesti ada dua type lah, di mana carburetor type dan juga electronic fuel injection ataupun EFI. Ni dia punya komponen: natural gas pressure regulator, gas mixer, CNG cylinder and cylinder valve, gas filling valve, high pressure line, selector switch, petrol electro valve, manometer, timing advance processor. Okay, kemudian ada natural gas pressure regulator, electronic gas injector, CNG cylinder and cylinder valve, CNG valve filling valve, CNG filter, high pressure line, selector switch, petrol electro valve, manometer. Tapi dia ada tambahan, dia ada ECU. Sebab apa? Dia menggunakan EFI, dia punya injection tu lah, dia fuel injection. All NGV electronic device and sensor. Okay, sebelum saya sambung tu, saya nak sekejap Okay, NGV component and function. Ini kamu boleh baca lah, saya just nak repeat balik supaya kamu boleh faham. Okay, CNG cylinder to store compressed natural gas, cylinder gas tu lah. Okay, shut off valve to shut off the CNG from deliver to the engine. Okay, mixer measure airflow and meters that flow the gas into the engine. Actually mixer ni tempat campuran sebenarnya ni. Okay, mixer ni tempat di mana from the gas and air, okay, bertemu. Alright, manometer to measure pressure in the system. Pressure regulator ni, pressure regulator ni adalah penting, di mana dia nak, okay, kita nak convert daripada high pressure line, high pressure gas to the low pressure untuk start. is a valve that automatically cut off the flow of vehicle. At certain pressure, regulators are used to allow high pressure fluid line supply line to be reduced to safe and usable pressure for various application. Gas filling valve ni nak filling CNG to the cylinder sebab apa takkan kita nak tidur kat tong dia, tak, dia ada tempat gas filling valve ni. Kalau kita pergi stesen minyak, okey, tempat isi NGV, kat situ dia ada tempat gas filling valve untuk dia masukkan gas di situ. Selector switch to switch the system from using CNG to petrol. Kemudian kita ada petrol electro valve to control the using of petrol when CNG is empty. Electronic gas injector to inject the natural gas to the engine. High pressure line to connect the natural gas from cylinder to the gas injector. CNG filter to filter the natural gas. Ni dia punya ni pressure regulator device, CNG. Oxygen sensor, okay, CNG refilling valve, okay, manometer, CNG reducer, gas filter, gas injector, micro switchover, timing advanced processor, TAP, CSU. Ini yang kita gunakan untuk EFI. Okay, kalau kita tengok baca kat sini kan, dia from CNG kan, ni silinder lah ni. Jangan pergi ke master shut off valve. Kat sini kita boleh tutup untuk tidak benarkan gas pergi reducer. Kat sini ada reducer, stepper motor, kat sini ada mixer, air filter, campuran udara dan juga gas kat sini Okey, throttle body dia akan pergi ke intake. Tengok ECU akan baca. Kemudian spark plug, exhaust, oxygen sensor. Alright, ni closed loop control lah, gas mixer system untuk NGV. Okey, saya akan membacakan tentang, I will read to you tentang NGV operation system. Natural gas is compressed and enter the vehicle through the natural gas fill valve receptacle. It flows into high pressure cylinder located in under the vehicle, sama dekat bonnet ataupun bawah vehicle. In a bifuel NGV, a fuel selector on the dashboard permits selection of natural gas or gasoline to act as the fuel for the vehicle. A dedicated NGV operates solely on natural gas. When the natural gas is needed by the engine, it lifts the cylinder and passes through the master manual shut-off valve. Okay, the gas goes through the high pressure fuel line, enters the engine compartment. Alright, gas enters the regulator, which reduce pressure from up to 3600 psi to near atmospheric pressure. Jadi pada dia masuk regulator tu, dia nak reduce from high pressure to low pressure. The natural gas solenoid valve allows natural gas to pass from the regulator into the gas mixer and natural gas fuel injector, or it shuts off the natural gas when the engine is not running, or when in case of bifuel vehicle gasoline is selected. Waktu ini kita boleh tutup lah kalau kita menggunakan gasoline. In a bifuel NGV, natural gas mixed with air flows down through the gasoline carburetor or fuel injection system and enter the engine combustion chamber. In a dedicated NGV, natural gas is injected into the engine combustion chamber via specially designated natural gas fuel injectors. In a bifuel NGV, when the driver select gasoline, the conventional system is activated and the NGV automatically will be shut off. Alright, this is advantage and disadvantage of NGV. NGV are safer, NGV costs are lower than gasoline, NGV is convenient and abundant, NGVs have lower maintenance costs. Alright, but disadvantage NGV are not as roomy as gasoline car, higher overall cost to build, limited driving range, harder to find than a regular gas station. That's all untuk video ni. Okay, Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Okay, I will continue my presentation on 6.2, which will illustrate the concept and basic principle of diesel common rail system lah. Okay, CRD. Okay, common rail diesel common rail system. Okay, common rail direct fuel injection is a modern variant of direct fuel injection system for petrol and diesel engine on diesel engines, it features a high pressure over 1000 bar to 15,000 psi. Fuel rail feeding individual solenoid valve as opposed to low pressure fuel pump feeding unit injectors pump nozzle. The third generation common rail diesels now feature piezoelectric injectors for increased precision with fuel pressures up to 1800 bar or 26,000 psi. Alright. Okay, dia yang ni biasanya dia pressure sensor ni dia akan detect daripada common rail menggunakan elektrik lah, using electrical system. Sebab tu dia ada electronic control module ECM. Then application of common rail, the common rail diesel injection delivers a more controlled quantity of atomized fuel, which leads to better fuel economy, a reduction in exhaust emissions, and a significant decrease in engine noise during operation. In the common rail system, an accumulator or rail, okay, yang dekat injector tu kita panggil dia accumulator ataupun rail, is used to create a common reservoir of fuel under a consistent controlled pressure that is separate from the fuel injection points. Okay, dia asing dia berada di atas, fuel injection point berada di bawah. A high pressure pump increase the fuel pressure in the accumulator up to 1600 bar or 23.2 kilo psi. The pressure is set by the engine control unit, ECU lah. Benda ni, pressure ni ECU yang tentukan. Okay, and is independent on the engine speed and quantity of fuel being injected into any of the cylinders. The fuel is then transferred through rigid pipes to the fuel injectors, which inject the correct amount of the fuel into the combustion chamber. Okay, the injectors used in common rail system are triggered externally by electronic diesel control or EDC unit, which controls all the engine injection parameter, including the pressure in the fuel rail and the timing and duration of injection. Tiga benda ni lah yang akan control dia sebagai dia punya main parameter untuk injection dekat injector in common rail system. Diesel fuel injectors used in common rail injection system operate differently to conventional fuel injectors used in the jerk pump system, where the plunger are controlled by the camshaft position. Okay, dia ada camshaft yang akan tolak plunger tu. Okay, some common rail injectors are controlled by a magnetic solenoid in the injector, di mana solenoid tu yang akan tarik injector. Alright, hydraulic force from the pressure in the system is used to open and close the injector, but the available pressure is controlled by the solenoid triggered by the electronic diesel control unit, EDC. Some injector uses piezo crystal wafers to actuate the injector. Okay, alright, dia macam actuator juga sebenarnya kat injector ni. Dia menggunakan kaedah piezoelectric ataupun dia panggil piezo crystal wafers. This crystal expand rapidly when connected to an electric field. In a piezo inline injector, the actuator is built into the injector body very close to the jet needle and use no mechanical part to switch injector needle. Dia bukan pakai mechanical part yang jenis tolak ke apa ke, dia just pakai elektrik untuk menolak dia. Okay, the electric diesel control unit precisely meters the amount of fuel injector, berapa banyak minyak yang akan diinject, and improve atomization of the fuel by controlling the injector pulsation. This result in quicker, more fuel efficient engines, cleaner operation, and more power output. Okay. Alright, ini adalah example Bosch EDC16 component overview. Okay. Alright, from the, kalau kita tengok, ini adalah tank lah, tank. Okay, the fuel tank, electric pump. Alright. Okay. Yang ini adalah low pressure fuel akan dimasuk melalui fuel filter. Okay, go to the high pressure pump. Kalau kamu tengok high pressure pump ni akan tolak, kemudian dia akan read, pergi ke fuel pressure control valve dan akan pergi ke common rail. Alright, common rail dia akan distribute. Dan ada minyak yang tidak yang ini yang kita baca nanti, dia ada bahagian fuel metering sensor dia akan tengok berapa banyak minyak yang akan return. Okey, minyak akan return. Kat sini pun minyak return dan di sini pun minyak return atau leak back or return Yang ini yang merah ni high pressure, yang ni adalah low pressure. Alright, ni contoh untuk Bosch EDC16. Okey, komponen untuk common rail system ada misalnya feed pump, fuel filter, high pressure fuel pump, fuel metering control valve. Fuel metering control valve ni dia ada close dengan open. Apabila dia open, macam mana dia akan return balik minyak lebihan. Kalau dia close, dia akan bagi pressure kepada control piston untuk naik ke high pressure fuel pump yang akan distribute kepada common rail. Kemudian ada fuel rail pressure control valve, kemudian common rail, fuel rail pressure sensor dan juga injector. Okey, 2, 4, 6, 8. So 8 main component of CRD common rail diesel. Alright, ini adalah contoh. Kalau kamu tengok ada banyak jenis ni high pressure fuel pump. The high pressure pump is the interface between the low pressure and the high pressure side of fuel system. Okey, kalau kamu tengok balik gambar rajah ni, ini high pressure fuel pump, dekat sini high pressure fuel, sini adalah low pressure fuel. Alright, type of Bosch CP3, Bosch CP1, Denso HP4, Denso HP3. Okey, ini adalah contoh-contoh untuk high pressure fuel pump. Basic function. Okey, basic function to ensure that enough fuel is delivered at sufficient pressure across the engine entire operating range. This include delivery of sufficient fuel for a rapid engine start and pressure increase in the rail. Alright, ni CRD punya function. Okey, ni yang kalau kita tengok gambar rajah yang orang kata illustration of high pressure fuel pump. Kat sini fuel supply inlet, dia berkaitan dengan fuel return. Dia mesti bersebelahan dengan fuel return. Dan then this fuel metering control valve solenoid. Alright, kemudian dia ada high pressure fuel outlet. Alright, ni high pressure fuel outlet ni dia ada macam plunger. Alright, gear type transfer pump. Yang ni yang ada dua gear, 2 gear. Alright, then pressure valve, suction valve. Okey, kat suction valve ni nanti kita akan tengok dia punya schematic diagram. Polygon ring, pump shaft with eccentric cam. Ni contoh untuk Bosch CP3. Alright, ni high pressure fuel pump. Okey, ni potongan dia, kereta rentas dia. Okey, the first one yang dekat plunger ni yang kamu nampak ni kat sini adalah kita panggil, we call it pressure valve. Okay, the number 2 is suction valve. Alright, 2 different thing. Number 3 is yang the yellow is low pressure. The yellow one is low pressure. Then the red one is high pressure. Alright, okay, yang the yellow one is a low pressure. Kalau kat sini kamu tengok, ini adalah kereta rentas daripada sebelah sini. Kamu akan nampak dia, yang ini panggil fuel metering valve. Kalau kamu tengok kat sini, ni fuel metering valve, kereta rentas dia. Alright. Then okay, sini yang ada macam, kalau kamu tengok macam bintang lah, dia ada 3. We call it transfer pump. Okay, transfer pump ni okay, ni fuel metering valve, transfer pump. Okay, dia ada gear 2 gear. Transfer pump supplies fuel from the fuel tank to the pumping chamber of the high pressure pump. Manakala fuel metering valve regulates the fuel intake volume to the pumping chamber of the high pressure pump. Okay, ni ada pump shaft. Kalau kamu tengok kat dalam ni dia ada piston. This is the polygon ring. This is the eccentric cam. Okay, ni bentuk macam cam, eccentric cam. As the pump rotates, the polygon ring move in circular motion to operate the pump system. Pump piston Alright, ini transfer pump yang tadi saya cakap ada 2 gear dalam ni Okey, kat sini kalau kamu tengok ada laluan, dia ada lurah sikit di sini. Okey, kita panggil fuel outlet port, kat sini fuel inlet port. Okey. Okey, yang ni jenis lain ni trochoidal type Denso HP3. Yang kita tengok dia adalah Bosch CP3 yang sama model yang kita tengok sebelum ni. An electric pre-supply pump in the fuel tank may be used instead of transfer pump. Some system may use a combination of electric pump and transfer pump. Okey, kita tengok fuel metering control valve pula. Alright, di depan. Okey, fuel metering control valve. Okey, located at the back of high pressure pump. Alright, yang saya tunjuk tadi, controls the fuel intake volume to the pump. Receive battery voltage supply from the engine ECM, energized by ECM via negative triggered by PWM. Alright. Okay, operating frequency approximately at 180 Hz. Alright, dia punya operation dia dekat 180 Hz. Okay, fuel metering control valve ni kita boleh test dia dekat luar, di mana kita connect antara positif dengan negatif tu, kemudian kita boleh tengok dia punya voltage dia Alright, okay, this figure ni kita nak tengok macam mana kalau ikutkan fuel volume intake control Okay, full volume intake control. Alright, macam yang ni kamu tengok dekat mana yang berbeza antara dua gambar ni, sorry, sini dan ini. Kamu tengok ini, nombor 9 ni kita panggil apa? Fuel metering control valve. Okey, yang ini fuel metering control valve open. Okey, kalau kamu tengok gambar rajah ni, fuel metering valve control valve close. Okey, saya nak cerita sikit waktu dia open. Okey, waktu dia open, kamu tengok, kalau kita tengok, saya cerita dulu satu-satu dululah benda-benda apa kat sini. Number 1 ni refer kepada apa? Pump piston. The number 2 is pressure valve. Then number 3 is 2 common rail. Then number 4 is suction valve. Number 5 is the fuel return. Number 6 is safety valve. Number 7 is feed fuel from the tank. Number 8 is gear pump. Number 9 is fuel metering control valve. Number 10 is throttle bore. Number 11 is number 11 ni adalah control piston apabila high pressure dan juga low pressure. Number 12 is lubricating oil bore. And number 13 is high pressure pump. Okey, kita tengok yang waktu fuel intake control di mana fuel metering valve open. Okey, minyak from number 7 ni. Okey, from the tank dia akan masuk ikut ni. Kamu tengok. Alright. Okay, I use the green one Okay, they go through. Normally dia akan ke sana. Normally. Alright. Okay, dia akan ke sana normally. Fuel bila sampai kat sini dia akan jadi the sensor detect pressure from the common rail. Pressure sensor detect dari feed melalui throttle bore pergi ke control piston with high pressure. Bila high pressure ni dia akan return balik lah. Bila dia return balik, dia akan pergi ke fuel metering control valve. Bila pergi ke fuel metering control valve, dan fuel metering control valve ni dalam keadaan open, terbuka, so minyak akan return balik. Okay, the fuel, minyak akan return balik pergi ke bahagian ni adalah bahagian return. Alright, bila dah sampai ke bahagian return ni baru dan minyak yang di ni tidak diperlukan Alright. Ini adalah untuk fuel volume intake control. Okay, I'll continue with for when the fuel metering control valve is closed dah tengok yang slide seterusnya waktu fuel metering valve close, fuel volume intake control. The fuel from the tank dia akan go through pergi melalui gear pump. Alright, dia akan go through, akan pergi ke melalui throttle bore, then dia akan seperti biasa dia akan pergi ke sebelah sini. Apabila dia nak return ke sini, di sini dah tutup. Bila dah tutup, dia akan create high pressure dekat sini. High pressure pump. Okey, dia akan tolak. Bila yang ni tolak, so minyak return pun boleh melalui sini. Alright. Okey, minyak yang return boleh melalui sini, dan dia akan pergi ke atas. Dia akan melalui pergi ke high pressure pump. Okey, dia ada dua laluan. Dia akan pergi melalui suction valve. Alright. Kemudian dia akan pergi ke pump piston. Alright. Kemudian yang high pressure pump, dia akan menolak, dia akan tolak fuel pergi ke common rail melalui pressure valve. Ini apabila control valve ditutup. Alright. Okey, ini high pressure regulator valve ni lah, high pressure regulator valve system variant fitted to back of high pressure pump, control high pressure fuel delivery to common rail, excess fuel returns to tank. Okay, fuel cooler required to cool return fuel flow from low pressure fuel inlet. Yang ni gambar rajah ni lah. Yang ni adalah high pressure regulator valve. Yang fuel is supplied to the common rail at high pressure from the high pressure pump. The rail store the fuel and distribute it to the individual injectors. Dia akan pergi ke injectors masing-masing. It also damp pressure vibration caused by the high pressure pump and injection process. Typical volume of fuel held in the common rail is 16 to 20 cm3. Ni high pressure accumulator kat common rail ni. Typical fuel rail pressure with engine idling and at running temperature approximately is about 300 to 400 bar. Typical maximum possible fuel rail pressure approximately, kalau yang jenis typical punya, dia lebih kurang 1600 to 2000 bar. Alright, ini yang dia takkan boleh melebihi sebab dia pressure dia akan control. Ini adalah gambar untuk fuel rail sensor dekat sini. Yang ini yang gambar aja dekat schematic. Ini yang actual punya. Alright, a fuel rail pressure sensor is located in the fuel rail. Fuel rail pressure sensor monitors the fuel pressure in the common rail. Typically a piezo-resistive type sensor. Dia 3 wires. Kat sini kamu boleh check dia punya voltage dia. Dia usually 5 volt supply from engine ACM, sensor ground via engine ACM, and linear signal voltage output to ECM. Semua benda ni dia akan menggunakan ECM, electronic control module. To enable the engine ECM to determine the fuel rail pressure used by the ECM as a part of calculation for the percentage duty cycle applied to the rail pressure control solenoid and fuel metering solenoid. Dia ada, kalau dekat yang ni dia ada rail pressure limiter valve. Kat sini kamu tengok dia ada macam ball bearing kat sini. A mechanical pressure limiter valve is fitted to some system. It is located at the end of the fuel rail. Kat sini kat ujung ni. Rail pressure limiter valve. Its function is to relieve rail pressure is abnormally high, system pressure is generated. Dekat sini apabila dia tolak, dia akan melalui fuel return kat sini. If excessive fuel pressure is generated, the valve open at the fuel return port. Yang ini dia akan hantar ke fuel return. Rail pressure limiter valve. Excess fuel is relieved back to the fuel tank. Alright, ini yang tadi ni rail pressure limiter valve. Yang dia akan tolak, di mana lebihan excess ni dia akan keluar ke sini fuel return to fuel tank. Example operating pressure of rail pressure limiter valve Denso HP3 system. Valve opens at 230 megapascal, valve close at 50 megapascal. Dekat high pressure je dia akan open, dekat low pressure dia akan kurang. Fuel rail pressure control valve solenoid. Yang ni dekat bahagian sebelah sini dia ada solenoid. A rail pressure control valve solenoid is fitted to the common rail on some system. The valve control fuel pressure by opening and closing a return port in the rail. Okay, excess fuel returns to the fuel tank via the fuel return. Okay, rail pressure control valve solenoid receive battery voltage supply from the engine ECM, energized by engine ECM via a negatively triggered PWM. Operating frequency approximately 1000 Hz. Used in conjunction with fuel metering solenoid, the rail pressure solenoid provides more accurate and faster control of pressure, particularly when reducing rail pressure during overrun. Rail pressure control valve de-energize. Alright, dia turun sini. Fuel return, rail pressure. Okay, more fuel is returned back to fuel tank via return port. Rail pressure akan decrease. Kamu tengok kat sini rail pressure punya bacaan kat sini. Yang ni kat engine ECM. Kalau kamu tengok gambar raja satu lagi, bila go maximum, rail pressure pun akan increase. Biasanya less fuel is returned to the fuel tank, rail pressure akan increase. Ni contoh-contoh fuel injector ni, gambar raja fuel injector ni secara realnya. The fuel injector are controlled by either solenoid ataupun piezo actuator. They are energized sequentially by the engine ECM. The ECM simultaneously switches a live voltage supply and S for each injector. Multiple injection process per cylinder combustion are possible. Alright. Okay, ni contoh fuel injector. Kat sini dia ada nozzle spring, thrust piece, valve needle, high pressure fuel inlet, electrical connection yang pergi kat sini. Ni solenoid actuator, injector valve. Yang ini adalah valve piston yang akan tolak. Ni fuel bag return dia akan tolak naik. Okay, operation of fuel injectors. Macam mana fuel injector operate Fuel pressure is supplied to the injector needle seat area. Okay, kat sini macam mana dia akan turun. Kat sini adalah chamber kat sini, and also to a small chamber above the injector piston via calibrated inlet port. Kat sini pembakaran inlet port. Kat sini injector valve yang akan turun ke bawah, dia akan tolak. Alright, kalau kau tengok high pressure inlet pada sini pergi ke injector piston, injector needle. Okay, ni kat sini ni. Alright, benda ni akan tolak. Okay, yang ni yang fuel return back. Sorry, ni kalau gambar raja ni yang fuel return back. Okay, benda ni sebenarnya dia punya kerata rentas dia adalah di sini. Ini adalah kerata rentas dia. Okay, when the solenoid is energized, the injector valve open. Macam mana pula? Okay, bila injector valve open, dia akan return. Dia akan pergi sana, dia akan tolak ni naik ke atas. Fuel pressure is relieved above the injector piston and return to the fuel tank via the injector leak back return ports. Alright. Okay, daripada fuel di sini dia akan return. Yang ni akan naik ke atas. Ini akan pergi ke sana balik. Alright. Ni macam fuel injector. This create a pressure difference above and below the injector position. Fuel pressure below the injector needle leave the needle. High pressure injector. Okay, yang ni saya explain pada gambar aja sebelum tadi. Okay, fuel is now injected into the cylinder. Maximum stroke of solenoid valve approximately 50 micrometers. Kecil je dia punya stroke, pergerakan dia, stroke dia. Alright. Okay, ni adalah piezo injector. Piezo injector dia different sikit daripada yang solenoid tadi. Ni piezo injector. Primary advantage dia quicker response time up to 4 times than solenoid control ni. Dia lagi cepat sebab dia pakai piezo injector ni, pakai elektrik. Piezo stack has several hundred wafer thin slice of piezo crystal material. When voltage is applied, the piezo stack expand and opens the injector valve. Mechanical principle operation is similar to the solenoid. Dia punya pergerakan sama juga, tolak naik pun sama juga kat injector piston ni. Cuma ini pakai elektrik. Okay, injector code. Most injector have code that must be programmed to the engine ECM. Ni dia punya coding dia. Alright, yang ni yang dia masukkan, the codes relates to the calibrated flow rate of the injector. It enables the ECM to correct the injection quantity to compensate for manufacturing tolerance. Maksudnya biar kita tukar, benda ni tetap kena calibrate. Okay, engine management closed loop control function daripada engine stationary, rail pressure calculation, engine start, fuel metering and rail pressure control solenoid. Dia akan pergi ke actual fuel rail pressure value berapa, dia hantar kat sini, dia buat comparison, dia akan pergi balik. Benda ni adalah closed loop punya control function daripada segi electrical. Ok, ni simbol-simbol dia kamu tengok ni. Stream, injection, pressure low, nozzle, seize, nozzle spring broken, dirt on valve seat, spike. Ok, kalau ikut ni gambar sebab gambar crop sorry injection port, damage or dirty, carbon build up, nozzle and abnormally worn. Dia punya spray dia tak cantik ni kalau kamu tengok daripada sini, spray dia macam ni. Injection port worn, carbon build. Kalau slanted, masa uneven seat contact. Injection port damage or worn, carbon build up. Ada carbon wujud yang sepatut normal dia keluar macam ni je sebenarnya. Dia cantik dia keluar dia tu daripada injector Alright. Ok, electronic diesel control ataupun EDC. Yang last kali ni, ini adalah topik yang last kali adalah EDC. Apa itu EDC? Electronic diesel control regulates the functions of injection system in such a way that the engine provides the demanded engine torque. The injection parameter are constantly matched to the engine and the driving situation. Engine with an electronically controlled diesel system from Bosch combine maximum dynamic performance with minimum fuel consumption and emission benefit. Dia punya benefit, cleaner economical engine operation thanks to the rapid adaptation of all injection parameter. Okay, that's all. End of slideshow. Thank you very much.